Getting dinner after this episode. This episode made me hungry.
Man, I got tater tots out in the shop in the toaster oven. Shit, I'll be right back.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, fiddle indeed. Being a pirate is a right indeed. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate.
Don't let your kids listen to that!
Rip Stefan Frank.
What is happening, Robot Wars, BattleBots, and BuggleBots fans alike? Hardcore Kid here with another episode of the Hardcore Podcast with some late-breaking news. I am very happy to announce that BattleBots Season 4 is confirmed!
Hooray! What impeccable timing!
Yes, we just they just posted on Facebook. It's going to take place in Long Beach, California, April 12th to 22nd. And that's when the filming's going to be. So if you've got your heavyweight robot, you better head out there now.
Or by mine.
It's the second biggest thing to celebrate this week.
We'll get let me introduce us to our guests. And gimmicks is the word of today, because we're going to be reviewing Robot Wars Extreme Warriors Heat D, which was an episode straight out of Vince Russo's fever dream. You've got pirates, you got farmers, you got tanks, you got patriots, and the New England Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of, joining me, his gimmick is that he loves anime, robots, kaiju, and also anime girls. It is Otaku Nate.
This episode was more entertaining than the entirety of Super Bowl 53.
Yeah, I'd like to give a big thank you to Nate. I'd like to give a big thank you to Nate. We had a Super Bowl party, or to be more specific, it was a let's not watch the Super Bowl party and play Mario Party instead. And guess what? It was more entertaining.
Yeah. Thankful. The most amazing part about that was that our friendship remains intact.
Yes. And speaking of joining us, his gimmick is that his robot is an alligator, and he is also a big fan of the Patriots, who just won the Super Tank Bowl for the 6th time. It is ResettisReplicas.
Hey, ResettisReplicas here.
Yeah. So, how do you feel now that Tom Brady got his 6th ring, huh?
Pretty good.
Yeah, in the most boring Super Bowl of all time.
I don't know about that. I mean, it was suspenseful. Like, in the I think it was the beginning of the third quarter, they were giving up defense left and right. Like, giving up 10 yards at a time.
Well, congratulations. You won Super Tank Bowl. And now that Brady has the 6 rings, he's probably disintegrated half the universe by now. Speaking of, does anybody see Ryan Beaver? I don't know if he got disintegrated.
I'm over
Yay! He made it. So, and I hear hell has frozen over. You're actually building robots now, Ryan.
Yes, I am, and hopefully they'll be done in time for whatever event I go to.
Great. And of course, we got our special guest of the evening. He competed in tonight's episode way back in Robot Wars Extreme Warriors Season 2, and it was, 17 years ago?
17 years ago.
17 years ago. And he competed with Snookums. It is the returning Captain Ed Robinson.
Yar, mateys, it is a pleasure to be here to meet you tonight.
Yeah. Great having you back. You remember, Ed, he competed with Sharkoprion in the recent BattleBot season, and he did well. And
hey, Sharko is 2-1. He has got a great record.
Yes.
You know it.
I would like to say one thing real quickly. Thanks for having me on. But my second thing that I like to say is I'm eating bacon and cheddar cheese covered tater tots.
Nice.
You are living the dream, man.
Ed, give me some of your thoughts. That's all right. Oh, so yes, tonight is we're reviewing Robot Wars Extreme Warriors Season 2 Heat D, and out of all the heats in this series, this one's my favorite.
It's mine too so far.
Yeah, it's like, I think what really helps, and I mentioned the gimmicks thing before, but this episode had a lot of really fun bots and lots of characters and all the roboteers all in their dress up. You had You had Brian Nave dressed up as an American in the red, white, and blue. You had the Psycho Chicken guys as farmers. And, of course, you had Ed Robinson and his team all dressed up in pirates. But the...
absolutely no stretch from my daily life.
Yes, sword swallower by trade.
Yep, I had 17 pirate costumes. What am I going to theme my team as? Let me think about this.
Elvis impersonators. That's what you're going to dress them up as.
No, that's King of Bots in China.
That's Pulverizer has that gimmick.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually talking about doing Evel Knievel costumes for King of Bots.
Wow.
That white and blue jumpsuit thing with a little red cape.
That'd be great.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Either that or biker.
Mm.
You know what? We all have our own crazy gimmick. Like me, my hardcore kid gimmick, I'm the rocker. Nate is the otaku. Ed is the pirate. Ian is the gator. And Ryan is the kaiju.
Excellent.
Yeah, I also throw on my witch doctor costume, or my medic costume, or my Rupert from Survivor costume, depending on my mood.
So if you were to compete in season 4 of BattleBots, what costume would you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Rupert from Survivor, because the desert island motif goes the most with quicksand.
Nice.
I think it's kind of funny. I've actually never really thought about BattleBots as a costume place. I wore my pirate costume one year when I first met Fuzzy, and I had my tights and my white fluffy shirt, and it just really wasn't. Nobody else was in costume.
It's because there was no barrier or anything.
Yeah, they weren't into it. But Robot Wars, man, everybody was in costume.
Yeah. But out of the 6 competitors, only one could win the best dressed. But the winner of tonight's episode was in fact Propellerhead.
Propellerhead. Propeller.
Leading spring for a spinning weapon.
Yeah, I really love this bot. It's like one of my favorite designs. Like I'm a big fan of overhead spinners, but sometimes they can get a bit crazy, as Apex showed us. But
this is just the right amount of crazy.
I can tell you from personal experience that bot has dealt some serious damage.
You don't
I thought
say.
I was thinking macho on his ass, and no. It took me to school, man.
It was amazing just how crazy this machine is. Full body spinners can be a bit like a pinball in a machine. This one's more so like a pinball because it has control.
Yep. I thought I was going to go there and eat him up, and he just tore me a new. I mean, it was awful.
It's a strange design to fight, because even if you try and slam into it, it just goes flying right off you and just.
Yep.
It's wacky, and you run into it and it just spins, like the body spins or the blade spins, but it's a very stable robot. It's really tough to flip. I think the only way you could actually beat this thing if you kill the blade and flip it over, but nobody was able to do that.
That's exactly what I was trying to do. Was kill the blade and flip it over, and I couldn't do it.
Is it a 4-wheel drive bot?
I don't know about that, but I just know the blade had enough power and a fast enough spin-up time that I could not attack it fast enough to stop it.
Also, is it any wonder why this bot KO'd Grim Reaper in BattleBots?
Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did, when it was Agitator.
Nice.
Did that make it on TV?
No, it didn't.
Also, one last fact, but I have a robot combat book that I have upstairs, and Propellerhead is on the front cover. It's one of the 6 bots that's on it. I forget the name of it, but it does have the picture of dead metal slicing into Dietor. But it's a pretty good book. But Propellerhead. It's built by Team Robot Dojo.
What a great guy too! Just one of the nicest people you ever want to meet in your life.
Yeah, and they also won. I don't know if it's the same guys, but they also won Robotica Season 2 with with Flexi Flyer, But I think between the 2 bots, I really like this design, and the way the blade, it's well balanced, it's destructive, it's really fun to watch, and I especially like the hat.
Hey, it's Robot Wars Extreme Warriors. Everybody's in costume.
Everybody.
Yeah. And they gave Mick a hat. They actually gave Dave Azer a hat too when they won the.
Yeah, Mick got really fixated on that hat.
Well, I don't blame you. It's the early 2000s version of a fidget spinner.
Sorry, but I just can't see Mick Foley wearing a hat. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Yeah, I remember years ago, Sid Vicious, the wrestler, wore a tiny baseball cap, and he looked like a total geek in it.
Softball Sid.
Softball Sid, exactly. But yeah, Propellerhead, really strong performance throughout. A little scare here and there, especially in the Heat final, but it managed to ram the Patriots. You see what I did there? The Rams rammed the Patriots. And won the Heat. So big congratulations to them. Really, and they move on to the grand final. So we'll move on to the runner-up of this Heat, the ever-patriotic Brian Nave with his robot, the Revolutionist.
The Revolutionist. Body Spinner.
Yeah, this is the... Oh, you want to say something, Med?
Well, I was going to say, he was way back in, like, when he first built that at BattleBots 3 original, back on Comedy Central. It was one of the first teams I met, one of the first people I met, one of the first robots I got to look in. And inside that thing is spotless.
Mm.
It's a manufacturer's dream. It's beautiful.
I actually, when I went down to Florida for Battle Beach, I went to the shop, you know, the Battle Beach shop, his workshop where he has all the bots and everything. And if you look in the shop, you can see like a whole like army of circular shells, and with I assume one of them was either the Revolutionist, but yeah, lots of shells, still got the electronics in there, and it's got some hardware in it. And it's certainly, I will say, when you compare it to last year's performance, because I know they came runner-up in the first season, but it didn't really look like the spinner had that much power to it. This thing has power to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
You get better every build, and that's how you do it. You fight, and then you rebuild, and you fight, and you rebuild, and you fight, and you rebuild. And he's been doing it for a long time now.
Yeah, and I'm glad he is, and Brian's running his own Battle Beach event. He's got another event on the Builders database in December, if you guys want to register for that. I'm not sure if I'm going again, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And the Revolutionist, it is fun. I just wish sometimes, it just seems like it always has a bad case of luck, because I think because they had that Heat final match won, but if they hadn't gone near the pit, they probably would have been able to knock Propeller-Head out somehow. But
I always said I'll never build a full body spinner because I don't still think you can drive them nice enough. I want to be able to drive.
Yeah. Because that's the thing with the full-bodied spinners. It's all round, and you have no idea which direction it is.
You know, unless you got melty brain going on, like her gear pounding back in the old school, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, but yeah, it's I salute this robot, and I especially love Brian's little promo he did on the tanks. So obviously he watched the Super Bowl. Super Tank Bowl.
Never watched one, never will.
I think it'd be fun. But yeah. What do you guys think of the Revolutionist?
I think it's a good robot. I definitely think it's powerful. My thing about shell spinners is I love the amount of power they have, but visually they're often one of some of my least favorite robots. Yeah, because I mean, like from a destruction and power standpoint, I love them, but from a visual standpoint, I'm not a big fan of them. Most of the time, they're just like circles or cut off domes, and well, I mean, yeah, that's just kind of it. It's so not granted, I would probably never build one as well. A, because they're dangerous and extremely hard to build properly, but B, I mean, I don't know. Just I think they're definitely the most. I love the amount of power they have when built right, but ultimately, I think visually they're some of the weaker robots.
There are some full-bodied spinners that actually put lights into their blade to actually make like words and stuff. Because SCD, when they go up to speed, you can actually see the name it lit up.
Red. Isn't it like red and blue?
I think something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And if I recall correctly, not many spinners will even use it. Many Melty Brains will actually do that. In fact, if I remember correctly, a Cyclone Bot actually did that back in the day with the spinning lights.
That's the first one I remember.
Pounded who fought at Las Vegas, and Hairstylist to the Stars, whatever his name was. They were both black bots, but they had Melty Brains with LEDs. You could see which way they were going by what color the LEDs were flashing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a neat setup. Hair Pounding and Hairstylist to the Stars.
Yeah, and Hair Pounding still competes today. As far as I can tell.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it comes like every one or two years to RoboGames.
Well, hopefully there'll be another venue for it.
Yeah, well,
hopefully BattleBots will have middleweights for once.
Hey, if you guys want to touch on that, ask me about starting a new event later on.
Oh yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
Well, RoboJoust. But yeah,
RoboJoust resurrected in San Diego as Monster Wars.
Oh, you gonna get the copyrights to that?
No, we're gonna call it Monster Bots. And every robot has to be an art bot. No big gas spinning weapons like, Tombstone and drums. And they have to be monsters. They have to look like something.
Okay, I'll definitely...
Hey, invite Team Snappy to do that, or Team Death from the UK.
A standard open event. You pay your entry fee and everybody comes.
Dude, I would definitely come to that and bring a kaiju-themed robot.
That's what I want. I want more. I want monsters. I want alligators and dragons.
Alligators, and you better bring quicksand in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Somebody
do all the hard
posted
work, I'll do the decorating on somebody's
posted
robot.
in the BattleBots group.
We're talking 60-pound maximum weight limit. No big kinetic weapons. I'll build the arena. I'll buy a building. I'll set everything up. People pay like $35 to come in and do an event. We do a monthly membership that'll cover the rent. I'll build it. I got no problem with that.
If you build it, they will come.
I think so. It's time for it. People need an event that has 15s and 30s and ant weights and 60s. 220-pound bots are great, but most people can't build them.
Yeah, well, it's expensive and it's tough.
It's expensive. A 30-pound cool-looking bot would really be fun to build.
And it is. Why do you think there's so many bots registered for Motorama in the span of 2 minutes?
And San Diego's a good town. It's cheap to get in here. It's a nice downtown area. I get an old warehouse. I build a 2-sided arena. There's no big kinetic weapons. Everybody comes in for like $30 a month, and that covers the rent. And it's free. You come in once a month. We have an event. Boom, boom, boom.
Sounds perfect.
That's what we're hoping to do after I come back from China. If I get over there and make a little bit of money, when I come back, I'm going to get a building and build an arena.
Yeah.
So,
one last quick clip. If I ever do that kaiju robot for that event, anyone who joins my team has to dress up like the soldiers from Ultraman.
Awfully specific.
I'll do you one better. I'll dress up as Gridman.
Yes, thank you.
Well, we got off track.
I want blacklight fights. I want LEDs and smoke machines, and we just want to have fun. We don't want to destroy each other's toys. We want to break them, but you don't want to destroy them.
Yeah.
Just basically have them dance.
Yeah, well, beat the hell out of each other still.
Yeah.
Monsters. We want monsters fighting in the arena, beating the living crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Well, we got way off track there, but the Revolutionist it came runner-up again, but what can you do? So,
I'm good at getting off track. Sorry about that.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's awesome.
So we'll move on to the second round dropouts, and we'll start off with The Gap.
The Gap.
Mind the gap.
Mind the Gap.
I don't know what that means.
It's a reference.
Mind the Gap.
A reference
the London Underground.
Yeah.
It's how they tell you, don't step in the space in between the platform and the train door, stupid.
Or you may die.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Or it's what you say to someone when you want to go to a department store, so.
That's what she said. Oh.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. The joke was lost on their
went there.
predominantly American audience.
So The Gap, Robot Wars is, if you've seen Robot Wars, you're going to see at least a flipper bot here and there, but this is certainly one of the most interesting looking flippers I've ever seen. It's basically a giant dustpan with a big cross as the flipper thing in the middle.
It's honestly an ingenious design for a flipper bot, if I do say so myself. Because like you have those two little bars to beat your opponent in the middle, and then you have like the big lifter that can tip him over.
I just wonder two things. Number one, can this thing self-right?
It doesn't look like it.
It does not. It did not. No.
No. Did it like try to?
Nope. I talked no self-writing whatsoever.
Oh.
That was like one of my original bots that had no self-writing, and we both talked about that one. No, you're not going to win if you can't self-write.
Yeah, and also I think the lifter could they could have maybe made the lifting arm cover the entire surface area of the dustpan region platform instead of just the one section in the middle.
I mean,
because like when they were fighting Propeller-Head, it didn't really seem like that they had they couldn't get the reach to get it over.
Yeah, it was probably just a question of weight. I mean, they sacrificed wheel guards completely.
Quite often, it's a question of weight.
Yeah. But I like the look of it. It's just a shame that Propeller-Head killed its gearbox, so they weren't able to compete in the tag team terror in the Nickelodeon series. Instead, they had to compete with Zanzara, which Brian Nave killed. Why, Brian? But,
because that's his job. That's what we do. We destroy each other's toys, and it's fun.
Yeah. Could they? I don't know. Could they have? Does this use NPC motors for drive?
Almost everything did in those days.
I thought maybe somebody could have lent them a spare or something, but I guess not. But yeah, it's a shame. We only got to see a little bit of it since in the first match it got the one good flip in on TrackZilla, and then Revolutionist killed it. But yeah. It's cool, and there is also a video of it fighting Juggerbot that I have on my YouTube page as well that I found online. So if you want to see that match too, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
I really like the whole kind of feels like a Doom buggy kind of with the whole roll cage and the flipper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh damn it! Now I really want them to just weld on a bunch of headlights at the top, like those Doom buggies have.
And now that you look at it,
that would be awesome.
So. Is there really anything left to say about the gap there from anything?
No, not really.
Just that it's mechanically very elegant.
Yeah, that's true. Now we move on to the opposite end of the spectrum. This other second round finisher.
He said mechanically elegant. You said opposite end of the spectrum. Now we're going to Snookums, right?
Oh, come on.
Not yet.
We're gonna start with some. We're gonna start with some chicken before we get to the fish.
Okay,
it's Psycho Chicken.
Psycho Chicken. Mama had the chicken.
Mama had the cow. Dad was proud. He didn't know how.
So that is a art bot with absolutely no offensive capabilities at all. But my God, this is fun.
Oh my goodness.
I miss the days when, you had garbage robots that were just there to be disposable. Like, I mentioned Team Death earlier. I know nobody really likes Team Death and their machines, but by God, did they go all out when it came to garbage robots.
They had fun, man. And by God, if you ain't having fun in life, you ain't doing it right.
Yeah. To quote Dudley Moore from Arthur, is fun not the best thing to have?
Absolutely.
And that's what just makes a robot like Psycho Chicken so much fun. Like, the robot itself is useless. I mean, the wheels are exposed. There's no self-rider. It's flammable. The blades. I'm pretty sure the blades spin the wrong way, but it spins down.
Oh, that's the wrong way, totally. Yeah. You don't spin down. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's so much fun to look at, and you can tell the team were there to have fun. Like, this team also built Mad Cow and Mad Cowbot, but they gave.
It looks like it's the same body as Mad Cowbot.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, if you see the build video online, they show him just taking the cow skin off, just putting the chicken skin on, and just putting the blades on, and it's.
Oh, yeah. They were really proud of how the blades made some wind when they spun.
Oh, making wind. It broke wind. And
Hey, what's this sound? What does this sound like? Can you hear that? That's rum going into the glass.
And I also love how the little mini bot scrambles.
yeah.
No relation to the Death Dealer, but I believe this is the first robot in Robot Wars to have a mini bot, and it only lasted about 5 seconds before Propellerhead literally scrambled it. But yeah, it's like the team is fun. The robot is hilarious to look at, and
yeah, I mean that's something that'll make you stop and turn your head in the pits.
A crazy chicken chasing me all over town.
Well, that was Psycho Cloud from outer space. That thing was nightmare-inducing.
Yeah, I actually got attacked by a chicken once.
Did you?
Yeah, no kidding. Got attacked by a chicken.
I told you to leave those cuckoos alone.
No, Peter.
Yep. Hence why I eat them all now before they get me again.
I had chicken wings and white rice tonight, and hopefully this guy's ghosts won't show up and try and get revenge. But yeah, this team's great. The robot is just hilarious, and yeah, that's it's one of the bright spots of this episode, and which there were many. But just seeing the chicken just running around and then getting taken apart, it was beautiful.
Running around a bit like a chicken with its head cut off.
Well, yeah. So we'll move on to the first round finishers, and
I just wanted to, before we move on, just recognize a very cool moment of it when Revolutionist chopped off all its wheels, and all it was left with it looked like 4 shopping cart wheels. So when Revolutionist hit it again, it just like glided across the arena.
It looked like on a coaster, like a mechanics coaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was translational movement.
Oh man,
that was a low-key funny moment.
So we'll move on to the first round finishers, and we've talked about Tank Bowl. Now we can talk about an actual tank that competed in tonight's episode, TrackZilla.
TrackZilla. Lifter.
Monday.
It's disappointing because, TrackZilla is Botzilla from Robotica Season 2, and that thing came runner-up. Here, it got in as much offense as the Rams did against the Patriots.
Just one Robotica was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
If it was in another heat, it may have fared better, but against that massive lifting arm of the Gap, yeah, it stood no chance.
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, like the fang that it has on the end of the lifting arm, it really doesn't look like it has a whole lot of reach to it, because I can't really see what it could have gotten under. Could it have gotten the chicken over? I don't know. It just, because I'm looking at the Robotica version now, and the fang has a little bit more width to it, but yeah, it's unfortunate. But
Robotica was always more of an Olympiad than a combat event.
For sure.
Yeah.
The original Shark was built to be an Olympic runner, and then they changed the event to the last second and really messed everybody up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it looks good. I like how the tracks have the little skateboard wheels on it, and that whenever it goes over something, it can just go over anything and just keep on moving. Counter-levered suspension, they call it. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tracks, in my opinion, are good for outdoors and running around four-wheel driving, but not in the combat arena. They just don't get any bonuses in the arena.
Yeah.
Unless you're Bite Force.
Yeah. Well, Bite Force used really complicated tracks with magnets, and they were custom machined, and they were like real ridiculously overkill. And also, I was actually at a Q&A once with him, and he explicitly said if he was ever going to do tracks again, he explicitly said no.
Yeah. They're just not best for the arena. That's not what they're suited for. They're great, but they're not suited for the battle arena.
Yeah, which is a real shame because they're always really, really cool looking.
They look awesome.
But they...
Hey, let's not forget Bite Force was originally a tracked robot.
Yeah, what did we just say?
That's what we were just talking about, yeah.
Come on, Nate.
I literally just said I had a Q&A with...
And I'm the one that's half-ass drunk.
Well, sometimes I space out during these shows, okay?
Bro, I am so spaced out right now. I need some Fireball cinnamon whiskey.
I guess at the end of the day,
I think that'll space you
I
more.
guess at the,
I'm coming down from the spray paint thing, though, so that's good.
Perfect.
yeah,
So,
I guess at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Truckzilla was just the better robot with a weird drive system.
Every day it's shuffling.
Uh,
Yeah. So, yeah, that covers Trackzilla. So, and finally, we finish off with the best robot in the heat, Snookums.
Yay! Snookums.
Snookums, me love.
Uh,
I could not think of a more inoffensive name for a robot than Snookums.
where did the name come from? Oh.
I'm slowing down because this kind of hurts right now. My mother passed away recently. That was what she called me, was Snookums.
Oh, nice.
That was her name for me, and I got to call her. And she saw me on one, so that's all good. She saw me in that event. She saw me go to another country with a thing that I built and fight robots and win fights.
Nice.
So yeah, she's seen me in the circus. I mean, my mother's proud of me, and I love that before she passed. But that was her nickname for me, was Snookums.
That's nice.
Remember the shark in Jaws' name was Bruce?
Yeah.
That's my father's name.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So I figured it was appropriate to name the shark after my mother's and, my dad, blah, 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 blah. So I named him Snookums.
Aw.
Nice.
It was a fun name. Yeah, just, so that was my mom's nickname for me. That's how it came about, because Jaws is named Bruce. My mother's name is Snookums.
So, what can you tell us about Snookums? The inner workings, the tail, the sword, anything?
Robot Wars, and this is the huge thing. I'll go ahead and get it off my chest. Robot Wars allowed entanglement. It was specifically written in the rule book. They wanted entanglement. They put it in there specifically saying, you can't do this, please do it.
Why? That seems counterproductive to...
No, because it makes a better show. If Tombstone wins every freaking fight, who wants to tune in?
Fair enough.
If you have a way to counteract Tombstone, then why would you not want to use it? What makes entanglement a worse weapon than Tombstone? Give me one reason entanglement is worse than a big, gigantic kinetic weapon.
Because then people would whine on Reddit and stuff like that it's unfair.
So what? There's no actual reason. It's because they whine. Who freaking cares if they whine? There's no real moral reason. It's a defense. It's a valid defense. It was allowed. I used it. I won several fights.
Yeah. It's strange because Robot Wars always seems to have this rule set where they always just change the rules. Like you were allowed entanglement, but once Series 7 came along, Bulldog Breed got busted. No more entanglement. If you're going around in circles, not leaving your circumference, you're out or you're okay. I don't know. It's never consistent. There's no consistency with this show.
Yeah, they even wavered on probophobia in the course of a...
They just change the rules every year.
I mean, I was saying that they wavered on probophobia in the course of a single season. Like whether or not the goalpost mechanism counts as movement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see some movement. Controlled movement, damn it.
I was working at a scrapyard in Las Vegas, and we got a whole bunch of old casino slot machines and decorations from the casinos. So I had a whole bunch of that really pretty gold aluminum from one of the old slot machines. I forget which one. And I made this really cool tail. And when Robot Wars said come in and they allowed entanglement, I filled it up with Velcro. Old t-shirts and plastic. It was specifically designed to look like fish guts getting ripped out of the shark.
Ooh.
That is awesome.
The other guy, and it worked beautifully, like 3 fights in a row. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. I tangled up the other guy's spinning weapon and won the fight. Wow, it was a beautiful weapon. It worked nicely.
So, how about the sword? Because I watched both the Rebellion and the this heat, and it looked like you had 2 different swords going.
The sword sucked.
It's like a Gladiator's spike thingy coming out.
Okay, I'm not going to mention names, but we had a teammate that we allowed it, and he was supposed to be a welder, and he brought in this thing that was made out of like half-inch thin wall square tubing for a flipper. You know, if you understand what half-inch square tubing might be good for a 30-pounder. A 60-pounder, maybe. It's not a flipping mechanism for a 250-pound robot.
No,
not even. And the welding was bad. It was badly, and so we had a bad weapon coming in. We rebuilt it, did what we could, and I built that sword-looking thing. I was never happy with the weapon. On our last fight, one of our other teammates forgot to put the clamp on the main CO2 tank.
Oops.
So it never fired. Yeah, the weapon was never effective on Snookums. Never.
So if you were to go back, if you were to go back in time, would you take maybe try and put like the spinning disc on Sharkoprion on Snookums?
No. First thing I would do is better tires, better motors, because he had no traction. If you can't drive, you can't do crap all.
Yeah.
Now, your weapon be damned. If you can't drive, if you can't take that weapon to the other robot, then you might as well just not even bother.
Yeah.
I will confirm that it's a very cool looking bot. Like I said, characters and wacky designs. It's we're always so used to seeing.
That's me. I'm the art bot guy. I love art bots. We want more art bots. Art bots rule.
Yeah, and you gave us a fish to go with the chicken. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
Damn it, you guys are making me hungry.
I don't know. You want any of this leftover Chinese food?
I mean, I probably would if I was over there.
Yeah, pretty much. Anything left to say about Snookums? What do you guys think of Snookums?
I absolutely love Snookums. I do. I really do. As I said, we need more robots like Snookums in this world today. Like, bots that are just built for fun.
Yeah.
Every robot competition needs a fun robot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Look
at burger. Everybody loved the burger.
Yes.
Exactly, and the burger didn't even work.
Everybody loves the burger.
How about you, Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like awesome to have thematic robots. That's what we really need.
Yeah, and like we said before, Quicksand also has the tail. That's so.
Yep, no entanglers.
Rock, man, I love having a tail. They're awesome weapons. They're awesome defense.
Oh yeah.
Excelsior has a huge tail.
Shake your tail, cause there's gonna be a party tonight. Shake your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your robot just looks 100% more animated when it's just got that tail wagging behind it whenever it moves.
Beautiful. Tails. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want more tail?
That's not dirty.
No shit, Ryan.
My name is George, and my favorite color is fluorescent clear.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, that covers all the robots. We might as well get into the review of the episode itself. So. The first thing to note about this episode, because this first fight was so short, they had to throw in a lot of filler. And by filler, they randomly gave the house robots an introduction. Why they did it in this episode instead of the first episode is beyond me. And they also had Mick Foley do his worst impression of Craig Charles ever. Let the wars begin. And then, the match itself, there's not much to say. The Gap flipped TrackZilla over. TrackZilla couldn't get back up. Revolutionist ran into the back of the Gap, killed it, and then killed itself. So,
to quote Patrick Starr, everyone died. The end.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, that's all we can say. Next match. This next match was a lot better. It was Snookums versus Propellerhead versus Psycho Chicken. This match was insanity.
I loved it.
It was edited strangely. There was a lot more action between Propellerhead and I than you ever saw.
Wow.
Oh, so you had him going
Why
for a
couldn't
while?
they use that as filler?
It was weird because, I mean, immediately what happened was I went after Propellerhead. That was my strategy. I went immediately after his ass, and I kept attacking his ass, and every time I did, he ate part of my face. And for 45 seconds to a minute, that's exactly what happened. And why the hell we saw that other stuff instead of that, I don't know.
Maybe they just think that close-up of Scrambles laying there dead was more entertaining.
It was entertaining, I'll give it that.
Everyone press F to pay respect to Scrambles.
Rest in peace, Scrambles.
Chicken laid an egg.
Yeah, but so...
Oh, yeah, was the weapon... Or rather, was Snookums' weapon ever working in that fight?
Never. Snookums' weapon was never effectively working. It never did any damage to any robot. It never flipped any robot ever.
Oh, but what I mean is, in the other episode, it was at least flicking away, and
it flicked. That's exactly what it did. That is a perfect description. Thank you for that word.
Yeah. Did it ever?
It was a flicker. I like that. It was a flicker.
Flicker. There you go.
Was a flicker.
There you go. For the next episode, we have Snookums, and Nate, you should say Snookums. Flicker.
Snookums.
Oh,
yeah.
Snookums.
I still think that the
fish.
Yeah, I still have to laugh how.
What's up, Ryan?
I was just gonna say, I just think it's awesome how low tech Scrambles was. It was like a paper mache egg strapped to an RC car.
It was beautiful. I love that little thing.
Yeah. I know. Too bad it became Scrambled.
I think they had like 4 of them. They had like 4 little things, and it was funny.
Oh yeah, you gotta have spares of those.
Yeah, if you're gonna bring things like that,
they didn't even bother in the second match. They just put it on a big piece of metal, and that was it.
Oh, did they?
Surprisingly, it survived.
Yeah. So, what the heck else happened? I guess Kill-A-Lot got bored and then just started attacking Psycho Chicken. And everything else just... there was just so much wackiness going on in this match. It was hard
where the tail got caught on fire on Snookums? I was driving around with my ass on fire?
I think they saved... I guess they had that in the fight, so I don't know.
Yeah, this was the one where what was it, Sergeant Bash was the flamethrower?
Yeah,
he grabbed me by the tail, and I was trying to get away, and he set my ass on fire, and I was driving around with my ass on fire.
That was the ninjutsu fight from the Robot Rebellion. I know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
was also awesome.
This was really
about that.
You know.
Don't worry, we'll get to that episode eventually. We're only 9 episodes away.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
This is the weirdest
that
observation
episode
I had
was
while
like
I was,
missing forever, and
I
we never got
I
to see
was
Snookums for the longest time.
Don't worry. A big thank you to David Silva for supplying the video footage and sending the tapes. So, and I still have the DVDs right here up on the shelf here. So,
speaking of that, has anybody ever found Robotica Season 2 with my fight with Fantastic?
No, unfortunately not.
It's still gone to history, isn't it?
The day will come.
That's bizarre.
That was maybe Robot Dojo has the episode. Who knows?
That's the only episode missing from that 3-year season.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
It will come. The day will come.
That's
and then
what she said.
And Psycho will be there to laugh at it. So yeah, but so in all this chaos, Snookums stopped, and then
he
Psycho
died.
Chicken.
He was killed. He was murdered. He was decimated, destroyed.
As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
What was the damage report?
Absolutely nothing but superficial crap on the aluminum face. I had to replace 2 wheels, weld on a couple of. I built a robot in 2 weeks. There was nothing I couldn't fix in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was done, ready to run again.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Sergeant Bash did his great Japanese fisherman impression.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, this match was fun. It's 3 wacky robots running into each other. Just you got Minibot getting wrecked, Kill-A-Lot and Bash having a feast. It was great. And of course, unfortunately, it finished off with Kill-A-Lot backing Snookums in the pit and almost going full in himself, which was fun. Well, don't worry. You can get your revenge on Kill-A-Lot. I'm sure the day will come.
Oh, I love those guys. They wore a sticker. They put on a Snookums sticker.
Yeah, so I saw the picture of that.
I love those guys. I love the operators of the house bots. Those guys were so fun. Such great guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so that covers the first round melees. TrackZilla and Snookums get eliminated. I'm sad. I cried.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it, it was worth it. My positivity level did increase after I saw the next match, which was the Revolutionist versus Psycho Chicken, and
oh my god, this was awesome.
Beautiful, yes.
Revolutionist just
Ate him up.
destroying Psycho Chicken, and you know what? Psycho Chicken looked like a shopping cart with paper mache put over it after its tires got knocked off.
This is like
it moved around like a stray shopping cart.
You can tell the Psycho Chicken guys knew they were just not doomed going into this match, because if you look, they haven't even fixed the wheels, which are wobbling all over the place. The egg isn't even a car anymore. The back wedge just got torn up, and Revolutionist just it gave one of the best wheelectomies I've ever seen. Like, it runs right into the back of the chicken, hits the wedge, rips off one of the wheels, and then in the next shot, the other wheel just goes flying off too. It was insanity.
And then he's not done yet.
Destruction.
He's not done yet. He goes for the caster wheels too. It just takes those off.
He went for the caster wheels. He went for the pit button. He went for shunt. Brian was just having a field day with this.
He's doing what he does. He hurts things. He destroys things. It's fun.
Yep.
Can I just say this little observation I had from Stefan Frank? Brian Navi in his interview said that the Revolutionist went from spinning at 1200 RPM to 1500 RPM. Do you want to know how much Stefan Frank says it spins at?
Go on.
How much?
1300 RPM.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's all kind of guesswork until you put a tachometer on it and actually count it.
Like, I don't know. Like, how some people say, Carbide's blade spins at 75 miles an hour. No, it spins at 120 miles an hour.
Yeah,
it spins at 25.
Yeah.
Why can't
I brought home a tachometer and we put a piece of tape on Sharko's weapon and we spun it, and it spun just a little over half of the 250 allowable tip speed, 250 mph.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
So we spun it just a little over half of that. I forget the actual number, but that's the honest number. That's what it is. That was powerful.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, RefBot didn't go in for the count. I don't know if he was broken or he's a vegetarian, but he just sat there and watched Shunt just fry the chicken and flip it, and just this was just fun. It was
chicken, yeah.
It was a delicious match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything left to say about it? Is there even anything left of the chicken?
They built it to be destroyed, and it was done beautifully.
Yeah.
All right. I will have to say this, though. If Psycho Chicken, for some reason, ever comes back and they enter an event with fire hazards, they need to add some way so that when it burns again, it has to smell like fried chicken. Like, I don't know, like some kind of, like
a scratch and sniff?
Exactly. Like a scratch and sniff, but for burning. And whenever it burns, instead of smelling like burnt fur, it smells like roast chicken.
How
that
about
would be the best.
I don't know how they would do that.
I know. I bet they make scented candles that smell like fried chicken.
Oh.
I think they do.
Scented chicken oil. Okay.
There you are.
Do it like Disney. Have a smell a thing that has whatever smell with a big fan and blast it in front of the audience.
Yeah. If they sell candles that smell like farts, they can easily make one that smells like roast chicken.
When you said candles that smell like fart, you made me spit take on my computer.
Oh.
Oh.
A new monitor.
I'm looking it up. It looks like you can get one for $22 from a site called thisiswhyimbroke.com.
Oh,
right.
That's beautiful.
Buy it.
Happy Valentine's, baby. This is why I love you.
So, Psycho Chicken gets eliminated, and they were too damaged to compete in the Tag Terror, so they competed alongside Snookums with Rodbox, rebuilt as Bang. Apparently, they loved that old loner bot so much they had to compete with it twice.
Well, we just wanted to fight together so we could say fish and chips.
There you go.
It was just a joke that everybody said the chicken's got to fight with the fish, so we did a tag team.
I don't know. Look like yeah, but yeah, that covers the match. So Revolutionist goes on to the Heat final, and now we get pretty damn good clash between the Gap and Propellerhead.
This was the best fight of the Heat in my eyes. Oh man. Propellerhead just clashing at the Gap getting several near flips on it. It was great.
That was good fighting.
And then the Gap drove into the pit.
We can't go an episode without a robot going full read.
Can I say it? Mind the Gap.
That was way too. Please, that was a major missed opportunity by Stefan Frank.
Well, yeah, I had to say it. It was during the episode. I went, oh look, he forgot to mind the Gap.
The Gap fell in the Gap.
Well, looks like somebody didn't mind the Gap in our arena.
Are you on a delay, Nate?
If I was Mick Foley.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a delay. Hopefully it doesn't affect.
That's what she said.
I'll be honest. Now I'm gonna be honest. You
Nah,
guys,
it doesn't work there, does it? Nah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'll be
What are you
honest,
saying, Ryan?
guys. I'm just saying. I'm gonna be honest. I was actually surprised you guys said this was the best one. This was actually probably like my second least favorite of the episode. I thought it was
Second
very
least favorite.
I
Really?
actually
Slow.
agree with him. It was not one of my favorite episodes, and I thought our performance was edited and looked subpar. To be
Well,
honest.
I'm talking about like this fight in particular, like the Propeller versus the Gap. I thought it was a pretty slow fight. Like it was just pretty much Propellerhead just one-sidedly, thrashing the Gap. The Gap's flipper, I literally wrote in my notes that the damn that flipper is slow. And then he just drove into then he just did not mind the Gap, and that's pretty much it.
And
But
they looks like
hey.
on one of the hits they broke the gearbox, and that's when they went for the turn. Propellerhead hit the pit button, and they just drove right in. Couldn't even.
But at least you can say that Mick Foley got a nice hat out of it.
That's true. Yeah, it's tough, but yeah. What else is there to say about this match? I had something to say about this match. I know Propellerhead's blade stopped working. I don't know if it got damaged or something, or maybe it popped out. But
yeah, I don't know. It looked like the Gap smacked it back into place, but that could just be coincidence.
I think they lost the drive belt or chain or whatever it was, and then it slipped back on. I mean, it was a belt, something that went off, and then it went back on.
Well, I like the match for what it was.
I like how they had the courtesy to turn off their spinning weapon before they hit the pit, unlike Revo.
Well, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to hit the pit button and then go flying right into the pit, probably.
And then they knocked the pit button away anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that was just a joke anyway. We all know the pit button nothing but a sign. The guy behind the picture is the button.
Yeah. To this day, I still question why they got rid of those buttons and replaced it with the tires. Because you know how many tires that got destroyed in Series 7? Too many.
Yeah, but tires are free.
Oh, that's
Yeah. And they're cheap.
Yeah,
you can get one right off of the highway.
Yeah, just
there's a guy pushing the button anyway, so who cares what the thing inside the arena? And the reason I'm building all this cool ablative armor for the Excelsior, people love to see stuff go flying.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the other thing about my bot. I got this island on top made of children's clay and plastic toys.
Yes.
And I've most of the matches I just put it on with Velcro so that the first hit will just send the whole thing flying.
That's what the audience wants. They want to see things flying.
You have a new You have a new apprentice, Ed.
Hooray for breakaway bits.
Oh, good lord! If Ian and Ed ever team up on a robot, God help us what they make.
Oh dear God! Yeah.
Make a giant, make a whale, like a giant a sand whale. You know, like in that Courage the Cowardly Dog episode, the sand whale.
My robot plan is a Gamera.
Oh,
A shell spinner like Gamera with rocket engines show for the flames.
Oh boy!
If you ever do that, give me a call.
Well, that's my next plan. If I can get somebody the next robot, that's my next plan.
Yeah.
I want a kaiju bot, man. Come on.
Yes, thank you. I've been wanting to do a kaiju bot for years.
Excelsior was very close to a kaiju bot. What was the show? Two Flutes or something like that? I forget the name of it.
I had a joke once, or never mind. But yeah. I lost the joke. But yeah, so
way off track again. Sorry about that.
That's fine. This filler is much more constructive than the 5 minute of recap
discussion
that they always show every episode, or how much filler there was in that tag team episode from season 1 where they do nothing but show promos for the house robots.
Oh dear God, that was awful. Oh.
Should have had some bonus matches. Didn't they have any whiteboard Were there any whiteboard matches for this show?
There was no whiteboard that I know of that the builders had access to now.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot harder to make impromptu matches on this since you need operators for the hazards and house robots.
Yeah. At that year, Robot Wars was still a TV show, very much an entertainment production, and BattleBots was still very much a competition that happened to be televised.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it was working in those days.
Yeah. I also have to imagine that the question I was going to ask, how crazy was it having all those transmitters? Because when I was younger, I thought the house robots were actually autonomous, but only later found out they were also transmitter controlled. But how crazy was it having all those transmitters in the arena at once? Especially during the just two to four house robots, and then plus the robots, and then even more for the melees and stuff like that.
My very first BattleBots was in Long Beach, and I was and this is a funny story, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It was a lightweight Robot X, my little alligator robot with a spinning sai. The sai was a weapon I had swallowed on stage in the Renaissance Fair. Anyway,
wow.
I built that robot. I went to a BattleBots. I was the very first fight of the season. I lost miserably, very quickly. I volunteered to work in the BattleBot staff. I got a crew shirt. I worked in radio frequency control. I learned how to run frequency control. When I had my own event, RoboJoust in Las Vegas, I knew how to run frequency control. Oh, wow. I knew how to handle all those hundreds of channels. That experience at that first BattleBots was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Losing that fight.
You don't have to worry about it now because now that we have Spectrum radios, you don't have to worry about frequency controls.
Everybody has lots of binding technology. It's awesome. Yeah. Now you just turn it on and boom, you're locked. Who cares? You're done. Back then we all had little closed pins. Each little closed pin had its own little number, and we had this big board with all these little closed pins on it. And to run your robot, you had to come to frequency control, get a clothespin, put the clothespin on your antenna, and then you could turn your robot on.
Yeah, I actually think Nate Franklin actually owns the Northeast Robotics Club's old clipboard, I think.
That's history there. Yeah.
Those horrifying times. I originally had an Antweight, and I was using one of those 76 MHZ controllers. Oh, the interference was horrendous. I had to literally hold the controller up above where the arena was just to get a signal.
When we went to London,
it's like I'm Goku trying to get all the energy for the Spirit Bomb with my arms up in the air.
Did you scream on the top of your lungs like every anime character ever?
Oh, you can imagine that there were many deaf people at the end of that night.
That's so nice. Now you buy a radio, you put it in, you hit the button, it binds, it locks, you're done.
Yeah, I would say that
I love safe.
I'm going to say that right now that 2.4 gigahertz would make that one episode of CSI very different.
I went and did Monster Garage. I had a choice. I could do the BattleBots episode that was doing the CSI thing about my event in Las Vegas, because I was one of the guys. They talked to me about it. Or I could do Monster Garage with Jesse James.
Did they know you? Did they want you to just be a real serious guy on CSI?
I was a consultant. My teammate John went with one of our robots.
Oh,
wow. Nice.
It was about my event, my underground Las Vegas street fight event. I was seriously involved.
Oh, wow.
Did you have to clean up all the blood?
No, because I knew frequency control. I knew that it wouldn't work. I went to Monster Garage. I had a choice. I could do one or the other, and I could not do both. And I went, well, Monster Garage pays money.
Hey.
You know, and I went to Monster Garage and I built a remote-controlled race car, and I made like $4,000 plus.
Awesome.
I made a $3,000 Mac tool set.
Awesome.
Nice.
I made almost $10,000 and got 2 weeks in Long Beach.
Wow.
What? Yeah, right. You know, come on.
I gotta get into this.
Monster Garage episode, I think it was 33, remote controlled race car. That was the one that I went when they filmed CSI.
All right.
Nice.
Hopefully, I'll post a link to the episode in the description if it's still available somewhere.
I think it's on YouTube somewhere. Yeah.
I'm sure it is in a tiny little TV screen in front of a picture. Hey, you got to get past that copyright somehow. So we have one more match to talk about, and it is the Heat Final, and it's between two full-bodied spinners, the Revolutionist and Propellerhead. I'm going to say it right now. This is my pick for favorite match of the episode.
Propellerhead is not a full-body spinner.
It isn't.
Oh.
It's an overhead spinner,
that's
numbnuts.
true.
They're 360-degree spinners.
Sorry, we got to correct you. It's not a full-body spinner.
I mean,
All right.
it's true. It's like
take
just
two.
a piece of leaf spring.
And overhead
Take
bar
two.
spinner. Get it right.
Take two, do it again.
All right. So,
Wrong. Do it again.
you know what? Just because of you guys, I'm not fixing it.
And I'm the one that's drinking rum.
Why is the
Anyway,
remote
let's keep-
gone?
Let's keep going.
So this match, this was actually, despite the quality of the upload's not great, but you can really see the little sparks flying between these two bots.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
Sparks literally
Sparks,
flew
yeah.
between these two bots. It was, how do I describe it? It's like two atoms colliding. Like just absolute explosion.
You know what it is? It's Beyblade.
You know, the old saying goes is that spinner versus spinner matches tend to be boring because, you know, it's always one bot that has to get that one good hit and it's over. But this was exciting.
Oh yeah,
Sparks,
definitely.
there were sparks, yeah.
And it all it came down to was who had the better spinner, and it was the Revolutionist because Propellerhead spinner just popped right out. And
Knocked it off its mounting, it looks like.
yeah, my contract said he ejected the blade. I'm kind of skeptical about that. I think
I don't think this
that was
controller did
gameplay.
not look like it had an eject button.
I do not believe there is an eject button. No.
No.
I think he was pulling your leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Brian had this match won, but then he made the mistake of going for the pit button. When you're a big round robot that you don't know where the front is, and there's a giant hole in the floor, you gotta be careful because then you might end up getting shoved right in. So
You fool!
yeah, but
Yep.
it was fun. It was a fun main event.
I don't know. It looked like Propellerhead couldn't, like the body, couldn't be damaged by Revolutionist spinner. Like it only had that one corner sticking out, and it was at the wrong height for the teeth.
Yeah, that was.
So
Propellerhead
advantage
did a
them.
Great job in this fight, despite losing its head.
Right. But the original Ziggo had a great design because this blade could hit damn near anything that hit it. Revolutionist has a.
You there?
Uh-oh, we lost Ed. We lost
All
Ed.
right.
No!
Oh, too bad.
Oh boy.
Are you still there? I can hear you.
We
Yeah.
can still hear
Hear
you.
you now.
Just died for a second.
Well, it's stormy here. It's a monsoon.
Monsoon!
Monsoon!
Brought that on yourself, Ed.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great comeback for Propellerhead because I don't know. I think if the match had kept going, I think it could have gotten some good slams in on Revolutionist, but Revolutionist would just bounce off it. I don't know.
All I can say is that this fight once again solidified that round shell spinner robots and holes in the floor are the best ship.
It's a sinking ship.
It's the OTP.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
I just don't do round robots. This is not my thing. I'm an art bot guy.
Yeah. But I would definitely say that Propellerhead did a great job of driving. Yeah, the fact I really like that one part where it almost like drove right out of the pit as it was going down. That was great.
Oh yeah.
And there was also a really nice turnaround where it's just like, oh, what's that? You lose your head. Oh, look at that. There's a hole in the floor. Oh, goodbye.
So sorry.
Bye.
If Propellerhead was a 4-wheel drive bot, was Propellerhead a 4-wheel drive bot?
I think it is. I think there's wheels on. There's wheels.
And I think that's what sealed it. It wasn't just the bad driving of the Revolutionist, but Propellerhead had a good deal of pushing power behind it.
Actually,
so even if it lost its weapon, it could still push you.
Drivability
with that shape.
Excelsior is all about control and drivability.
Actually, let me double check something. Because if I remember correctly from Agitator, Propellerhead actually have 6 wheels. Maybe, I don't know.
The more contact you put to the ground, man, you're gonna win. If you can run the match on the ground, that's where you win.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Agitator.
Of course, I'm coming from a guy that's never won a BattleBots.
Oh wow.
I got a bunch of pogs. I did win the Robot Rebellion episode. I guess you can call it a win.
You guys beat Shunt. You guys beat Shunt and Dead Metal.
Yeah,
Kilowat was just
all the
in
way
there.
through to the finals, and then who's gonna beat Kilowat? Come on.
Nah.
It's a freaking Bobcat with a remote control.
Apollo.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically only letting, couldn't it just pick up any robot and throw it out of the arena at any moment?
Half a ton, yeah. Come on, you couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Apollo.
Yeah. Well, you could flip it if you got it right. It was off balance. It was a little badly balanced. But it was literally a backhoe. It was a rentable backhoe from a rentable. You can $45. You can rent it for half a day.
Don't call Kilowat. Don't call Kilowat a backhoe. He has feelings, Yeah. So that pretty much covers Heat D. Did Ryan any luck with Agitator?
Yeah. No, it looks like there's no clean pictures of the underside. It doesn't say anything on the wiki, so I'm just
I'm looking at the for the season 4 version has 6 wheels.
Yeah, I'm just fine. But after that, though, I don't know if they drop down to 4 or not. But yeah. Also, by the way, since you said Kilowat's a backhoe, now we know what his side job is.
Dear. Oh. Don't tell him that. Yeah, but
I'm not going there for once.
Yeah, overall, I really liked this episode. I
liked it too.
I definitely thought that the first fight with the first fight where all 3 robots died, and then the Propellerhead versus the Gap were kind of slow, but ultimately I thought the other 3 were really, really good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7.5.
Same here.
I would go 7, yeah, and I was in it.
Yeah. I'd say that's there. Too.
How about you, Ian?
The biggest problem was I had no traction and I had no great weapon.
Yeah.
And I bought Propellerhead, which is a giant.
And I went after him too, which was it was a rookie mistake. Yeah. I machoed. I went macho man. I went straight after the biggest, baddest weapon, and he ate my ass.
Giggity.
Yeah, but at least. But hey, at least we can say that you had the single best theme in the whole episode.
Woo! Yeah.
So,
how about you, Ian? What's your rating for this episode?
I'd go an 8 on this. I think apart from a couple of matches that were too one-sided, I really enjoyed it. And obviously just by far the most character of any of the heats of the season.
Yeah, it was great seeing all these really crazy bots, crazy bot builders, and some fun moments here and there. We see wheels flying, chickens frying. It just what makes Robot Wars fun. And
that leather suit she was wearing was nice too.
What was it?
The hostess, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Boy.
Jessica, man, that leather suit was nice.
It wasn't. It was Carol Grow. Was it?
Carol, yeah. That was. I mean, the interviews were fun.
Yeah, better than Rebecca Grant, but
I think so. Yeah. It was a nice outfit.
Yeah, but that covers this episode. It was a fun episode. The next episode features the return of Team Juggerbot with Rosie the Riveter, and they have to go up against Darkness, Basenji, Night Stalker, Mecha Droid, and Techno trousers. I have a lot to say about this bot when we review it next time, because
those were my pit neighbors. They were next to me in the pits.
Oh goodness, baby. Oh, that is going to be an episode for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was no BuggleBots spare episode this week, so we're gonna have to wait another week for that. So next episode is gonna be a review of Heat E and
BattleBots Season 4
and BattleBots Season 4. Eventually, the filming is in April, and no telling when the air date's gonna be, but we're definitely gonna.
I might go to the filming.
Nice. You might. Oh.
Hey. Cool.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to be there. I got my own robot event to attend in Arizona at around the same time.
I'm thinking
in China. Ha ha.
China. I'm probably going to the one in Texas. I've been experimenting by going to new different events each year. Like last year, I went to California for Robo Games, Florida for Battle Beach, the Sandusky, Ohio for Colossal Con. So, yeah, just trying out new events.
Press F to respect for Robo Games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Well,
yeah.
I know Dave. I never went to one of his events because of just, life. But what a man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we gotta give him a big thank you for bringing back Robo Games when he did. There was one year where he said he was quitting, but then he came back next year, and we all jumped on the Robo Games bandwagon and attended his events, and they were some of the most fun events I've ever been to.
That's what I've heard. Everybody that I've talked to and all the pictures I've seen, and I know the man. He's great. He's like me. He's a sideshow geek. He likes magic. He likes shoving ice picks up his nose.
He's living the dream, as it says in the little Obama meme thing that they had going on the wall there.
I think he bought like a castle in France. What a cool, Wow.
Yeah.
I feel really bad that I've never been to Robo Games in my life, which makes me very sad.
Me too.
Well, go to Ed.
I've
You'll
never been
get to be San Francisco, and that's one of the main draws.
Yeah.
I'm trying to open RoboJoust here in San Diego because with Robo Games gone, people need another event.
Well, let us know when RoboJoust finally comes into fruition, because we'd love to attend.
Well, we got the Facebook page open, and I've always said and when I come back from China, actually, what's going on? I wanted to sidetrack. Right now, I got a little bit of money. I got a little more coming in. Some other stuff has happened where I got a little bit of money. I just sold a trailer that I built. And when I come back from China, I might have a little more money. So when I get back to San Diego, I'm going to get a building. I'm going to build a nice little arena, and we're going to start an event. RoboJoust is coming back.
Yeah. Great. Everybody go buy Ed's stuff.
Yes.
Well, I don't have anything for sale right now. I'm going to go to China. But go to the RoboJoust Facebook page. Join up. We're going to do a thing, probably it's going to be like $30-35 a month. If we get 150 people joined up at $35 a month, that pays the rent on a building.
Nice.
With an arena. So whenever you want to come, if you're a club member, you get to come and fight for free in the arena.
Oh, great.
How simple. We have an event once a month. Anything that's 60 pounds or under. Nothing over 60 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, well, looking forward to see how it goes. We'll have links in the description. We'll have a link to the Facebook page, and
join up with the RoboJoust page, and give me an idea. I'm listening to ideas. If you got an idea, tell me.
All right. I don't have any ideas now. I was gonna make a robot out of a piano, but I think that might be a bit too offensive for Ed. So.
Yeah.
My robot still ran after they dropped a piano on it.
Hey, this is solid.
When I unpacked Snookums at home, I took him out of the crate and drove it into the shop by remote control.
Nice.
Wow.
After that,
Little thing.
Yes. Oh, Ed. Ed, quick recommendation for RoboJoust. If you ever do an event in October, besides the registration fee, you also must make it required for builders to come in costume.
Yes, for Halloween.
Yes.
It's like you can bring the robot and you can bring the payment, but if you're not in costume, sorry, you're shit out of luck.
Oops.
We're actually hoping to have. I'm hoping people bring monster robots. We're going to call it Monster Joust. I mean, it's one of those things. We want art robots. We want people to have fun. Build a robot, have some fun with it.
I look forward to seeing what happens. So, yeah, that pretty much covers this episode. We've been at it for an hour and a half. Woo!
MT should invite me, won't it?
Yes. Oh, it's always great having you on, Ed. We always have a lot of fun with these episodes. But, yeah, so fun episode, fun podcast. Hopefully it's recorded. Obviously, yeah.
Would that suck? Oh, sorry.
Oh, Lord. We need the power of God to bring back all this time. But yeah, BattleBots Season 4 is coming up. We'll see what happens. We'll see who's entered.
I'm sad. I'm so sad Sharko won't be there.
Okay. Oh, did you find a buyer for him?
No, not yet. I don't know.
Well, somebody buy Ed's robot. Come on, people.
But there's no heavy events over here.
I love Sharko so much, and 18 years I've been trying to get on BattleBots, and I finally got there.
Don't sell them. Selling your robot is like selling your children. Just
no, if I sell them, I can build another better one. See, that's the key. I sell this one, I can build a better one.
Yep.
Bigger, better. Better.
You should.
I want to build. I love to build. That's what it's all about, is building cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay, Ed, if you ever change your mind and do build a full body spinner, you have to duct tape a whole bunch of plush sharks to it and call it Sharknado.
No. Oh, there you go.
Oh God.
Well, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Hardcore Podcast. It was great having you guys here. Ed was good, and everyone, of course. Until next time, I'm the Hardcore Kid.
I'm Otaku Nate.
I'm Ryan Beaver.
I'm Ian.
My turn.
He's Ed. Peace out and cease.
But why is the rum gone?
Is the rum gone?
The rum is always gone.
No, I just made another drink.
Hey.